There is no pain like doing everything right for the wrong man. You showed up with love, with effort, with consistency. You communicated. You showed up your healed self. For my Christian girlies, you prayed, you fasted, you were abstinent. You did all of that. You did all the things that a healthy relationship requires. And guess what? That man still played you. But let's talk about it, because it's not your fault. It's not your failure. It really was his character. If you're new here, welcome to Heal the New Sexy, where we discuss all things healing, self-love, and relationships. My name is Cynthia. I am a licensed therapist coach, and I want to talk to all my girlies, and I want you to share this with any woman who is like, I did everything right. I asked the questions. I brought him to the men in my family. My father met him. My uncles met him. They all vetted him and they gave a stamp of approval. He showed up like that guy. I asked all the right questions. I did the background check, and he still played me. He still lied. He manipulated. Or once we got in the relationship, he changed. So I want to talk about that today. Listen, first of all, let's talk about why he changed after he feels like he had you. I want you to know from the beginning, he was performing, not partnering. Men who lack emotional maturity don't date, they audition. And this is why for weeks, months, and even years, he shows up as a certain man. But as soon as you guys get together and in the relationship, then something turns. That was his representative, but that's not who he truly was. Men like this, they put on good behavior until they feel like they've secured you. Now, sometimes he doesn't secure you until you get married. Sometimes he doesn't feel secure until you've had his child. And then all of a sudden you see a different side of him. The moment they feel safe, not you feel safe, but the moment they feel safe, the mask drops. The moment he feels like he has you in a compromising position, then all of a sudden who he really is shows up. And by this time, you may have fallen in love. You may have moved across the country. You may have taken on his name. You have had his baby. You've made some sacrifices. You may have even quit your job and you've made some sacrifices. And all of a sudden now, a man who you don't, what did Tamia say? Was it Tamia? She said, there's a stranger in my house. Took a while to figure it out. There's no way you can be who you say you are, because it was an audition. That's not who he truly was. Now, this is a part of our Dating with Discernment series. I'm going to put this with the rest of the videos. So be sure to watch those if you're new here, okay? Now, number 2, why he changed after he had you. He wanted the validation, not the responsibility of you. He loved what being with you and how being with you made him feel. It was all about his ego. He had a big ego, but not the one that counted. Anyway, right? He was a man who felt desired and felt chosen. See, we talk about over here a lot about how we get into relationships in order to feel validated and admired, but men do the same thing too. It was about his ego being stroked, and you showing up in your healed whole self, doing the work, truly wanting love, wanting to be love and give love. That's all it was for him. He didn't want the responsibility of who you truly are. He didn't want the responsibility of a wife, to be the responsibility of being a father. He didn't want that, but he wants the validation. He wanted his ego. He liked how you were on his arm and the attention he got from those around him. It's like when you go to the barbecue and the uncle sitting under the tree like, oh, I see you, nephew. That's all he wanted. But he didn't want the accountability that came with being with you and keeping you. And that's why when you asked for certain things, he never showed up for it. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why the things that the needs that you had and you would bring them to him, he would minimize them. That's why when there were certain things things you needed to change, he didn't address it, because he wasn't really serious about you from the beginning. He just wanted you to validate him. He just wanted you to stroke his ego. Number 3, why they change. He sold you dreams he didn't have the discipline to sustain. Listen, I hope y'all watch my video about 7 signs that man can't lead you. Listen, this man is out here just selling pipe dreams. That's all he's doing. He doesn't have the discipline. He doesn't have the know-how in order to sustain the very thing that he was talking to you about. So he's talking to you about marrying you. He's talking to you about building a life with you, but he doesn't have the discipline to do it. And that's why, and it may even seem in the beginning that he's going after the very things that he said that he was going to do, but in the end, it all falls apart, because the only reason he was able to do some of the things that it looked like he was doing was because you were there. Listen, he painted a future he never intended to build, and you trusted him because you're honest. You're honest. If you hear something, that's my son playing this game in the background. I'm sorry. Right? So you trusted him because you're honest. And you know what? Many women show up like lambs ready to be slaughtered as it relates to dating. And unfortunately, you showed up whole, honest, integral, with high morality. And guess what? He saw that. These men see you. They know what type of woman you are. Okay? Meanwhile, he was improvising. He didn't know how to build a future. And let's be honest, some of them aren't even intentional about building a future. They just want to get close to you because they realize you're a good woman. Let's be for real, okay? If you go to, I want a Porsche. If y'all know anything, I want a Porsche. When you go to the lot, you can't tell me. There's different types of Porsches, but you can't tell me that everyone isn't drawn to the Porsche that's the most expensive on the lot. Everybody wants access to that Porsche. Why? Because of the cost. Now look at you. You can't tell me that a man, even a man who is homeless, will want access to you. Why? Because you're a woman of integrity. You're a woman of dignity. You're a beautiful woman. You're kind. You're considerate. You're loving. And so sometimes we have to understand that there are going to be men that want access to us because of our value, because of what we have to offer. Now let's talk about the betrayal, the switch up you felt before you saw it. Now, again, let me say this. I'm not doing this video to blame you. No way, shape, or form. Because I understand in the work that I've done that there are some men that are very good and skillful and crafty as it relates to being deceitful. And that's something that many people online don't want to admit. Okay? So, the subtle pullback, shorter calls, lazy text, no more dates. He doesn't take initiative anymore. You may have noticed that when he used to get off work early, he would just come and he would see you, but now he's going straight home. You notice that when he texts you good morning, he used to say something sweet when he texts you good morning, but he doesn't do that anymore. Okay? So he's subtly pulling back. Now, sometimes when a man pulls back, he's pulling back to see if he has a hook in you and you'll move forward. So it goes from him pursuing you to now you pursuing him. Okay? You felt the energy change before the behavior changed. Then comes the gaslighting. You ask what's going on. He's like, baby, everything's cool. Everything's cool. You may be overthinking. You ask for clarity. He says you're doing too much. You express your needs and he minimizes them. So you move from him pulling back to now he's gaslighting you. Now he's telling you what you feel. Girl, you crazy. It ain't even like that. But you notice the shift. You notice the change. Or he is dismissive. You bring up, girl, whatever. He stonewalls you. So when you bring a need to him, he doesn't want to speak about it. And there's even sometimes, especially if a man is like narcissistic, it gets to the point where you bring something up to him, he'll get angry. And then he has you apologizing or you backtracking because you don't want to anger him. But he's really doing that as a manipulation tactic. Okay? So what this all means is I'm not showing up and I don't want you calling me out on it. Now let's be for real and let's be clear. Betrayal isn't just cheating. Sometimes betrayal is emotional neglect. You know, I'm big about emotional safety. It's abandonment. It's inconsistency. And I know for me, I told somebody a couple of months ago, if you are not consistent with me, that tells me you don't like me. And if it starts getting confusing to me, then I know you don't like me. I need clarity and consistency. All right. Broken promises. He tells you you're going to meet his family and then time goes by. You say, hey, you said I was going, oh yeah, I'm going to get then. And it never happens. It never happens. Broken promises. Pretending to want a relationship just to keep you close. Whatever form it came in, it was betrayal. And the thing is with us, we don't look at the small things as betrayal. It has to be something big. It has to be the infidelity. It has to be him having a baby with somebody. But we don't look at these small things that happen as betrayals too, right? When he promises that he's going to, let's say you're married and you say, baby, I just want this for our anniversary. He promises to do that, but he does it. When he forgets your birthday, that's betrayal. How is it that we're together, you forget my birthday or you minimize it? When he's inconsistent, when he's hot and then he's cold. Okay? So it's not just cheating. Now, let me tell you why women who do everything right experience this. If you still here, say still here. Listen, the reason why you experience this is because you're emotionally intelligent and he's emotionally avoidant. You use communication to solve problems. He uses distance to avoid accountability. And this is the thing. This man can be highly intelligent. He can have a bachelor's degree, master's degree. He can be a doctor, have a doctorate. Like, he can be highly intelligent, but he avoids strong emotion. The only time you may have witnessed him being emotional or felt a strong connection to him is when you were having sex. But outside of that, he avoids emotion. And when you show emotion, he doesn't respond well to it. Okay? Right? You gave him stability that he didn't earn. You poured into a man who never had the capacity to pour back into you. I remember seeing, I think it was T.D. Jakes one time talking about capacity. And he was like, he was talking about children and their parents. And he's like, you can have the gallon capacity, but your parent may not. And so when your parent was pouring into you, there was still voids that you had. And sometimes in a relationship, that man just don't have capacity. And you know what? It's his responsibility to develop it if he wants to have a healthy relationship. You can't help a man or force a man to develop capacity. That's on him. Okay? So you poured into him and he never had the capacity to pour back. Consistency exposes character. And when a man is inconsistent, that is a character issue. Why? You know why he doesn't call, he doesn't text on your important things, he doesn't show up to? That's a character issue. Okay? Your standard triggered his insecurities. He realized you weren't a temporary woman. You were built for long term. Listen, I remember hearing a pastor said the 3 F's: freak, friend, or forever. And he probably was trying to get with you because he was trying to, like Missy said, get his freak on. Okay? Missy Elliott, right? But then he realized that you were forever. And so now what he's trying to do is he's going to do one or two things. Either he's going to drop you because he knows he can't give you what you want, or he's going to give you what you want till he hooks you, he feels safe, and then he's going to switch up on you. So that's why you could say, Cynthia, I was a virgin. I got married. I didn't even have sex before I got married. And I got married and he still played me. Yes, because he knew that the only way to keep you in his life was to do something permanent, whether that was marrying you, having a baby with you, moving in with you, because he knew if I do this for her, she's not going to go anywhere, or that's what he thought. Okay? But he's only built for convenience. That man's not built for long-term commitment, long-term relationship. He's not built for that. He doesn't have the capacity for that. He doesn't have the character for that. And he's not, and if we're honest, he's not doing the work so that he can. There are some men that will come in your life, realize the jewel that you are, and he will say, I got to do some work because I can't let this slip through my fingers. And there are other men that say, I'm going to manipulate her to keep her in my life. Meanwhile, I'm going to do and live the way that I want to. So let's talk about the truth about men who betray good women. He knew what he was doing. There are often times when I'm working with women that they give the benefit of the doubt. That man knew exactly what he was doing, and it was calculated. He knew what he was doing. Stop justifying his behavior. Stop, I know y'all watch tons of videos because I see y'all watching mine, right? Stop watching videos in order to understand his behavior so that you'll stay longer. No, accept the behavior for what it is and move on. Many of us are like, I work with women, his childhood, this and this happened, and this traumatic event. You know all his traumas, and you may be trauma bonded. You know all his traumas, and so you use that as a justification for how he's showing up versus him doing the work to show up and be a great and mighty man. Why is it as women, we'll give a man the benefit of the doubt, we'll justify his poor behavior versus stepping back and say, okay, he got some work to do and he should do the work. Why is it that women are showing up, doing all the work, and then you're going to get with a man who's not doing any, and then you plan to suffer with that man? No. Stop giving grace to men who give you confusion. He wasn't lost. He was selfish. He knew what he was doing. He wants the benefits of being with you without leadership. A lot of men want admiration without growth, loyalty without effort, Intimacy without commitment. That's why we got situationships and friends with benefits. Why? Why? Why would you give that man your body and he's not giving you a commitment? Why is the most and precious thing, the highest level of intimacy you can have with a person, why would you give it to somebody who's sometimey about you? Somebody who acts like they don't see that you are a jewel. They don't see your worth and your value. Well, you know what? They act like they don't see it. They see it, but they want to get you at a discount. That's like me going to the Porsche dealership and you think, let me tell you something. If I go to Porsche, somebody said this to Porsche. If I go to Porsche and they're like, Samantha, that Taycan you want, I'll give it to you for $5. You think? You think? I'm not going, oh yeah, I got $5. That's what some of us are doing. We're giving our most valuable self away. And your valuable self is not just in between your legs. It's not sex. Your valuable self is your whole being. Even sometimes the words and how you speak life to somebody is valuable. You're giving that away at a discount. And guess what he's saying? Thank you. Because he's like, if she don't want her, if she don't know her worth, and if she's not going to charge her worth with tariff and tax, I'm going to take it at a discount. Access without accountability. That man don't want to be accountable to you. He don't want to answer your questions. Baby, I called you yesterday. Why? I haven't heard from you. What's going on? Girl, what? Man, whatever. Man, I mean, man, I was busy. What? That man traveling, going out of town, and y'all married. How you traveling, going out of town, and we married? Going on a boys trip. How you going on a boys trip? But let you say you going on a girls trip. Let you say you going on a girls trip. Oh, it's a problem now. So in the relationship, you are accountable to him, but he's not accountable to you. So he wants you to answer to him about the things that you do. But when you ask him a question, he don't want to answer. You ask him, hey, baby, I noticed that $100 was spent here. What you tracking the money for? But he got something to say because you done bought some shoes and now all of a sudden you sneaking shoes in the house. When it comes to taking care of the children, he expects you to care for them 24/7. But your mama's sick in the hospital and you need him to take care of the kids. And now he want to ask you 1,000 questions because he don't want to be accountable. He want to be able to move the way he want to move. He want to be able to go the way he want to go. Okay? I want you to know that his choices reflect his character, not your worth. His betrayal is a mirror of him, not a measurement of you. And so often when a woman is betrayed, she begins to question her worth. What did I do? What didn't I do? Even if it was in a let's say he did cheat. And it's like, okay, was I having sex with him enough? Was I giving him enough affection? He always said I was nagging and you are running through the things that he said you did. Meanwhile, 1 plus that don't equal 2. A man cheats because he wants to cheat. Let's be very clear. A man steps out of his relationship or his marriage because that's what he wanted to do. Because bringing another woman in does nothing but stroke his ego. It doesn't solve whatever relationship he has, whatever issues he has with you. And let's say you did nag a lot. How does nagging equate that he goes and he cheats? Right. He's using that other woman as a supply in order to stroke his ego. That's it. So that shows that man has low self-esteem. He lacks self-worth. And for some men, they really don't like themselves. So what they're doing is that they're going and they're destroying women. That's what they're doing. Right. So let's talk about how to heal from a betrayal that you didn't deserve. I need you to not ask, why wasn't I enough? Or why did he do this to me? Because it's not about you. And I know that's hard because whenever something happens to us, we are trying to figure out, why did this happen to me? It's not about you. That man had issues. That man, again, was intentional with what he did. Okay? You weren't lacking. He was limited. You have to rebuild self-trust. The violation wasn't just him. It was you abandoning your intuition to believe his words over your body. And I did that video about what your body is telling you about him, right? So many of us, people be like, you saw the red flags, you saw the red flags. Listen, there are some men that are so skilled and so crafty that there are no red flags. They're not new to this. They're true to this. They've betrayed over and over and over again. And instead of become a man of honor and integrity, they get better at what they do. Okay? So this is the thing. You have to understand that there may have even been a little subtle thing that you had missed. And the alarm went off. You said, no. You may have even explored it. And you said, hey, baby, I saw such and such, and it made me feel this way. Like, hey, sweets, I saw you, off talking to your coworker, and I just don't like it. I don't think it's appropriate for you and her to be ducked off talking to each other. Oh, baby, don't worry. I'm so sorry. We were just talking about something as relates to a project, and it was urgent. And so she had pulled me aside, and I just, and you're like, okay, cool. Meanwhile, he having an affair with her the whole entire time. You saw it was subtle. You addressed it, but he soothed you. Because there are some men who aren't going to get defensive. They're going to have an answer for everything. They slick like that. Okay? So you have to rebuild self-trust. You have to make men earn access moving forward. We are not rewarding potential. We are slowing down enough that we can be able to see his patterns and then respond to them. Okay? Let a man's consistency write the story, not his charisma. It doesn't matter how charming he is, how much he buys you flowers, how much he takes you out to dinner. You need to be watching and paying attention to him. Making sure his actions and his words line up. Making sure the things that he says, the promises that he makes to you, that he follows through. And some men come in with very grandiose promises, but even the small ones, you need to make sure that he is doing what he says that he is going to do. Because there are many men that are very charismatic. They know how to charm you. They know how to say the right thing, because you have to realize by the time he's got to you, you're not his first relationship. This ain't his first rodeo. He knows how to say all the right words in order to lower your guard. But you keep your guard up. I'm going to do a video for the membership. So if you're not a part of the membership, click the join button about how to date that man without giving him your heart, because you got to guard your heart in dating. You got to guard your heart in dating. You have to be more logical than emotional. Okay. And I know many of us, we love our girls. We want to be loved. We want to give love. We want to feel love. We want to do all the things. But now forward, we got to guard our heart. We're going to date, get to know him as a friend. Okay. Make sure that our values line up. Make sure that he has some integrity, his morality. We're going to check out his family. Then we can talk about moving forward. A lot of women date very isolated. So you're making the decision by yourself. But I think many of us need community, and we need other people around us that can vet this person. Okay. To say yay or nay. But sometimes your people can say yay, and guess what? He still does this. Why? Because he is making the decision to manipulate you. He is making the decision to take advantage of you. It's not about love. It's about control. And it's about him getting his ego stroked, because whatever deficit is in him, he's using you as a source to fill him up, versus doing his own work, going to see his therapist, going to get a coach, reading the books, listening to the podcast. Instead of him doing that, this man uses women as band-aids. So let's reframe this, right? You didn't get played. You got protected. Whatever the exposure was that led to you knowing whatever happened, it was because God was protecting you. Because you were probably, you probably started sensing some things, but you were like, no, because what many of us do, we go back to the beginning and we give that man credit in the present for how he was in the beginning. So even though he's not being loving, he's not being kind, he's being avoidant, we start thinking about the things that he did in the past, and we start wishing and hoping that the man we dated or the man in the past will come back, and we will say, and we start performing and thinking, if I do this, if I do this, if I do this, I'll do this, I'll do this, then maybe that man will show up. No. That man is showing up in that relationship or in that marriage right now the way he wants to. And over here, we respect the man's behavior. We don't try to change a man's behavior. Because that man wanted to show up loving and doting and caring and intentional and integral, he would. Because it's in him. You see how he showed up previously. So why is he not doing it now? Because he don't want to. And sometimes he don't want to, but also he knows there ain't no consequence. He knows you're not going to leave. That's why he could cheat and have babies, or that's why he could take the money and invest the money and not say. That's why he could do all these things. Why? Because he know you're not going to go anywhere. Okay. So you didn't get played, you got protected. You didn't lose a man, you lost a liability. God removed what you would have stayed loyal to out of habit. You was giving this man loyalty. Do you not see? Listen, men watch sports. They see how people get traded from one team to another. You need to be the same way. Like some of these executives of the NBA and NFL, trade them. Trade them. He ain't doing right, trade him. But women, we are loyal. So we show up loyal. But if a man is abusing your loyalty, you need to stop being loyal to that man. Point blank, period. No, stop being loyal to a man who's not showing up caring for you, who's not showing up being kind, showing up being gentle, showing up being integral, showing up being consistent, loving on you, pouring into you. Stop showing up for that man. Let him go. Many of us were raised by women who are loyal to men that they should have left. And so when we get with a man, and we see his bad behavior, we start performing and start trying to love him out of that. You need to leave him. You need to leave him. Behavior is a choice. It's a decision. And any man that's in your life needs to be choosing you. He needs to be loving you. He needs to be considerate of you. Not when he gets you, then all of a sudden he switch up on you. So now y'all been dating for 2 years, you get pregnant. Now all of a sudden he tell you he want to live on his own. This is too much for him. Meanwhile, y'all were actively trying to get pregnant. Or you get married and then all of a sudden he tell you he don't want to be married. Or you find out that he's not in the financial situation that he told you he was. So you get married and then it comes out that there was a lady on TikTok said she was getting ready to get married and the man had 7 kids. What? What? Betrayal, deceit. Okay? Listen, if this resonated with you, down below say no more switch ups. I'm not accepting any more switch ups. Be sure to join the Healed Squad because I'm going to release that video tomorrow for the membership only as relates to how to date without giving that man your heart, because we're not falling head over heels in love anymore. We're not being a fool in love. Okay? We're being very intentional about where we are giving our heart. Our heart has been broken and mishandled too many times. So we're being intentional about the man who gets access to our heart and our body. Okay? This is Heal the New Sexy. My name is Cynthia. I love you so much.